This is one of those moments where I wish I'd allowed myself to swear.
At the first whiff of trouble, we bail.
What brings you into my garden?
I thought you might be someone that I knew. My mother.
Mothers do tend to have quite an effect on their children. Finish him.
Yes, Mother.
Is this it? Is this the end? But the small hand of your rescuer grabs hold of you once more and pulls you into the swirling mass. Welcome back, Foundlings, to another episode of the Gate Chronicles. This is Chronicle 1, Chapter 82. And remember, we have to celebrate every episode until 100. Party popper sound. I have never seen Quentin this disheartened looking before.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You staring off into the distance.
It's a day in the life.
Yes.
A shell of his former self.
Shell of his former self. But anyway, gentlemen, it seems that my name is Emily, if you didn't know.
It does seem that way, doesn't it?
That's what I've been told, but I don't know if I believe it.
But yes, my name is Emily. I am the game master and host of this series podcast episode. The music putting together person. I don't make the music. I just put all the sound together for your ear holes. And today I am joined by two players. Go ahead and introduce yourselves, my players.
Hi, my name's Charles Smoot. I'm a 57-year-old biology teacher born and raised in upstate New York, and I'm your resident Quintonaut.
Wait. Okay, he has just become the old man. That's what it is.
That's what happened.
Charles
That's what
Smoot
happened.
is playing Quintonaut today.
Yep. And it's a whole new level of inception.
Apparently, I am married to an old man.
57-year-old biology teacher.
That's a huge age difference.
And we thought the other way was big.
Oh, hey, hi, and I'm Jaden. I play Finavir Avir. He's dead.
You and me both, pal.
Well, I think this is a great time to just
Could there be a more perfect segue?
Oh, absolutely. There's always a more perfect segue. And I'm about to segue hard that you're not even ready for it.
To our sponsor, the local mortician.
I mean, we could. Hear me out here. Thank our patrons, Stephen Howland and Jason Lillis, for supporting our podcast. Yay!
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it early this time. Not released early, but...
Now you don't have to wait till the end of the episode that no one listens to anyway.
Yeah, we know you all skip it. I do.
I do.
All right. So I'm gonna let me just
Actually, I don't.
Gentlemen, guys, stop it. You're having fun and it's forbidden.
Didn't you get the memo? Having fun is banned here at TGC.
All right, let's get started. The end has come for both Charles Smoot and Finavir Avir. At least, it would have been, right up until the moment the far traveler intervened. Their diverging stories led them down paths of destruction and death. But what does fate have in store for our heroes? We will have to find out in today's episode of the Gate Chronicles. But of course, before we even do that, there was a little something that was said by this person, as you should have guessed by now was the far traveler. You know, you take something from this world, and it will take something from you. And it is true, because I have some cards here.
Oh, I love cards.
Yes.
Yeah, we're a big fan of cards.
Big fan of cards.
Yes. The truth is, in this realm of existence that you're in, you are not wholly you. And you feel as though a little part of yourself has been left behind. Each of you is going to draw a card and then look at the card, then put the card back in the deck.
Is this a magic trick?
No, this is not a magic trick.
You're hiding this one.
I'm not. I don't know what you pulled. All right, give it back. Do you know what your card is?
Yep.
All right, Jaden. Pull your card. This is your fate.
What if we get the same card?
If you get the same card, it's even better.
Fate has a poetic sense of irony.
Okay, so gentlemen,
Hey, that's us.
tell me individually what card you pulled. Specifically, starting with Charles Smoot, what card was pulled?
Oh, yeah, fun times, man. I pulled the Void.
Okay. Charles Smoot, you forget a key piece of your identity or your background. When asked about your past or trying to recall personal history, you must succeed on a DC 20 will save, or on a failure, you stammer and provide incomplete or incorrect information.
Oh, that's perfect.
I could just see it. Next session, Charles Smoot, 57-year-old conductor at Disneyland.
So it's anything that's really about your personal history. Something important about you is lost. Now, for Finavir,
Oh yeah, you pulled the Void. I pulled Gem.
you pulled the gem.
We did not rig this. This was as random as it possibly could have been.
You forget the value or significance of an item of personal worth in your possessions. When attempting to sell, trade, or use the item, you must succeed on a DC 15 flat check to recall its worth. On a failure, you undervalue or misuse the item. So, are you ready, gentlemen? You are floating in a void. At first, the only thing you can see is the cloaked figure in front of you. You have this strange sensation of your body gliding, and you're vaguely aware of another presence beside you. Fading into view as you follow this person is an almost illusory corridor, its details hazy and difficult to make out. Strangely, windows begin to form along these invisible walls, and paintings of memories fill their frames. The hooded figure stops and waves their hand, pulling a frame into focus. It enlarges, and when you blink, your hearing soon swells with the sound of cheering. You begin to feel the sensation of the wind caressing your skin, the scent of roasted chestnuts and blood mingling in the air. You're alive. The hooded figure looks ahead of the crowd below at the execution taking place. Go ahead and roll a perception check.
21 for Charles Smoot.
Oh, let's go. 31 for Finavir.
Charles and Finavir, and this is odd for you, Charles, because you see yourself as you're pushing your way through the crowd. This is the moment right before you leapt into the pit. And additionally, Finavir, as you're kind of looking around, you look over at your hooded ally, and you kind of see this occasional ripple of energy that courses over them. You can see that their form seems to destabilize momentarily before rematerializing.
Is Charles next to Finn?
You are both next to each other. You're further back in the crowd than where you were originally.
Finn! Smoot! Finn will go straight for an embrace.
Charles Smoot doesn't, push him away, but is stiff and not really paying attention.
I didn't think I'd get to see any of you again.
What have you done?
Charles Smoot is addressing the far traveler, looking past Finavir.
Finavir, you can see that the far traveler seems to be breathing somewhat heavily, and their focus, again, not really on either of you, but what's going on in the distance. They don't offer you an answer, but they do say this.
We're back where it all started, where it all went wrong.
You see, Charles, now at this point, that the far traveler does seem to be breathing heavily, grabbing at their head.
This is the only warning I will give you. I'm running out of time, so listen carefully. You and your past selves must never meet. What will happen here, you must not interfere with. Should you meet, you will create paradox. It will kill everyone around you. Take the key. Do what you will with it. The gate can grant a wish that I find John close.
And a scream cuts through the air. And you know this voice better than anyone, especially you, Finn, as this moment seems familiar to you. It's Kelsey's voice. If you would like to maintain your focus on the Far Traveler, I would need you to roll a will save.
Sure. I'll roll a will save. Charles Smoot. Natural 1 for a total of 15.
Okay.
Man, getting some serious deja vu vibes. Finn will focus on the Far Traveler. It was a 21.
No matter how hard you try, your instincts take over, and you begin looking for your companion in the crowd. You can barely see her, though, but you do see Finn, the scene from many days before of her crumpled over with you and Valen standing nearby. And Charles, you see the same thing. It's odd because now you're looking at it from the outside. And as you both realize and remember the Far Traveler's there, you turn back, but you see no one there. You only hear a whisper.
We'll meet again.
Is it just me, or did he have green eyes?
I guess so.
Then maybe it was Kelsey's brother. Time for that later. We should probably get out of here. You know there's nothing we can do.
So we've been told.
Well, last time we were thrust through time, it was a bit different.
Oh, no, I'm saying we were literally told that we can't interact with ourselves, that we shouldn't change the course of events that are occurring here.
Well, I trust him.
You begin to see Finn and Charles as both that small group of you guys are beginning to move towards the front. And you hear as the audience beginning to chant, drink, drink, drink.
We should go, no?
Most certainly.
I guess Finn and Smoot will walk out of the Coliseum and kind of go over the events that had happened, led them up to this moment.
You push your way through this crowd who seems to be completely enthralled with the events that are occurring inside of the arena. And you make your way out of the Coliseum with ease. And you are currently outside of it in the East District, where you see that there are troops putting on performances outside and a variety of merchants just out there trying to sell their wares outside of this Coliseum currently.
All right, we should go over available information. Does it seem busy enough that no one should suspect us, or maybe we have to go find a place to hide to talk?
It seems very busy out here, and from what you can tell, nobody seems to be looking for you specifically, so the sky's the limit. You do know that of the locations you visited, Franny's Tavern and Teas, that's probably going to be, especially because she seemed friendly, might be a good place for you to go if you need to go somewhere. But right now, it seems safe.
I checked my pocket for the Guildmaster's key.
The Seeker's Pendant?
Yes.
You wouldn't have that because that's what needed to be left in the gate hole to open.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
Yeah, you wouldn't have had that.
Sure.
But speaking of which, as you guys are leaving, you begin to recognize the fact that you're wearing your old clothes, but searching your personage, you seem to also find items from after.
So we're in our old clothes. We don't have our old items?
You have your old items, you have all of your old stuff, but you also have some of the other things that you might have gathered.
And the last thing I said before I died was I dropped the briefcase.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, the ladder.
He did.
What a travesty.
But so that means that leaves the only things he would have left. Oh no. There'll be 3 things. Papers, the dagger, and the box.
No, you don't have the box.
Okay.
It seems that whatever magic that was used to pull you through could only pull out or be manipulated enough to grab things that weren't super strong. So you have the ledger, you have the town map that had some areas marked off on it, the snake-headed dagger, and the wine of the blood. Charles, if I remember correctly, you would have gotten some potions and money.
Yep.
So all of that's still on you.
And my striking bastard sword became a wound +1 striking wounding bastard sword.
Yes.
And I also have the silver dagger.
Yes, you have that.
Finn's basically broke.
Well,
But also I have money that's not easy to spend.
Oh, that means he has the blink-eyed, the nodule back. Wait.
you had some crow, but a lot of it was silver.
I got around about 200 silver and 20 crow. The majority of my money, value-wise, is in crow.
The most important item. Is Isabel back?
It does seem that when you pat yourself down, you do feel that familiar figure in your pocket. It is Isabel.
There are two of her now. They must never meet.
Why?
Because that's what the far traveler said.
No. That's not what he said.
What do we know? We get arrested after this, after we get beaten up. Or you get beaten up, we get arrested. You turn into the big monster thing.
Right. What do you think he meant about the gate?
That the gate grants a wish? Says he can grant wish? Kings can grant wishes.
How would a gate do that?
I don't know. Servants? Power? I don't know.
Did you encounter a gate?
A ominous giant black gate that looks like it could absorb the whole world, but something like that. Yeah, deepest of blacks.
This was different than the secret gates. Yes.
You mean the silver ovals? Yeah, pretty different. Gate that grants wishes, or a wish, maybe a wish.
How specific could the wish be, though?
Yeah, but which gate? Was it the one that we saw? We had died and just wound up there because...
What do you mean, we?
I assumed you got near the same way I did.
What gate were you near? Clearly the big, black, spooky one, but...
So, there I was, beneath the church, exploring some underground catacombs.
Okay.
Along the way, I met a terrifying woman, and then a lot of stuff that I thought was material in the dark, like wood, branches, and vines, was actually cables and such. She manipulated the cables into something sharp and ripped my head open, and I died.
How many days passed after we separated? Be very specific.
I'll try. So, we didn't sleep the night of being captured, I think. We talked to the man in the armor, and then he sent me to the church.
Yes, after you failed attempting to escape out of the prison, we met with Serapius. Serapius bounced us out after our conversation with Revenant. Then we split ways.
The event in question happened on the upcoming Sundune.
Immordun is the Sunday, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I just grab the nearest person and I shake them.
What day is it?
Oh, it's my, first Immordun, sir.
Sorry, thank you, kind sir. Go about your business.
Thank you for putting me back down, sir. You'd, picked up this small man and were, shaking him for information.
That would make sense, then.
And what was your experience?
Well, I blew up an entire mountain and tried to drop it on us.
Okay. That sounds very powerful. Amazing, even.
And then she stopped it.
That's how you died. Amazing.
No.
No?
Remember, I said tried. She stopped it.
Oh, that's way more powerful.
There was partial collateral damage. Some individuals were injured. But in the end, Revenant survived. I made a mistake. I misjudged her. I was too hopeful.
Oh, you were too... yeah, you were.
I misread the situation. But I did gain some useful information. Apparently, this mother figure who's been toying with us this whole time, at least in these parts, I believe she is the Order Queen.
And we've been dealing with an Order Queen?
Supposedly. Revenant referred to her as the Queen, but if our speculations are correct, the King of Taija is not married yet. From the gossip around town, the wedding has not happened. And what would be the need to kidnap Cece if he was already wed? Our inference was that she was kidnapped for political leverage. So I believe there is two sides of the same coin. There is the figureheads of the organization, and then there is the organization itself.
So Cece's not getting married?
No, I believe that is still part of the plan. I'm not 100% sure, but clearly we have the Order Bishop, we have the Order Knight, we have a king, And there is, I believe, an order queen.
Is this a reference of some sort?
It's like pieces on a chessboard.
Is this chess a thing?
You saw a chessboard in the bishop's office.
Like a chessboard. And where are the pawns?
Look around. What do you think the Red Guard are?
It's a lot of pawns. So that just leaves the rook.
When we crossed the border, wasn't the individual we crossed paths with referred to as the Order Chariot? Remember, we had to pay off that one Red Guard.
Yeah, he was surprisingly okay with everything.
Teach their own.
Well, if he has a weakness, I might think of another. Bishop is keen on his vices, more than you could imagine.
What makes you say that?
And he will talk in very hushed tones. Just some things I saw, and a mountain of evidence I have stashed in my shirt.
I mean, is there anything we can do with the mountain of evidence?
Well, it depends. Someone around here with connections could do a lot with that. So, if we know where he spends his money, where he spends his time, we can plan around at least one of the chess pieces, or even, perhaps, coax him out of our way, or it seems that this is something that is kept very private. Maybe we could use this as, along with some of the locals to ascertain leverage.
What information do you have?
Ledger of his expenses he was getting yelled at by... Who was it? He goes to reach it in his coat. It's like, no. I'll have to check when we aren't here.
Do you think someone's watching us? Do you think someone knows what you're looking at?
He looks around for red dots.
I'm all for being overly paranoid, Finn, but...
The only thing that stands out to you currently is that one of the nearby vendors seems to be whispering about you two to another stall vendor, and they're gesturing. They seem frustrated that you've just been standing in front of their stall but haven't bought anything.
Smoot, lording may cost us a very hefty price. We should buy something from that stall.
Sure.
What stall are we standing in front of?
Right. Roll a d20 for me, please.
8.
It's a guy who's selling ornamental rocks for your bookshelf. They're geodes.
Sure, I go and strike up a conversation with the man about geology.
Geology conversation?
Yeah,
Does this have anything to do with your your background?
No.
There you go.
You've been very open about your interest in geodes in the past.
Biology.
Okay. Whoa, we need this. Geology and biology are two very different fields of science. I was only interested in geodes previously because there were meteor rocks that fell from the sky and had a rare metal in them.
Okay. I'll let it go.
So, you're finally going to buy something.
Oh, yeah, I hear salt is the salt of life.
You want a salt rock?
I don't know, what kind of rocks you got?
I have opals, I have granite, I have these things.
I feel like people probably take that for granted.
Roll a diplomacy check. We'll see if your dad jokes are welcome here.
Well, you see, it's sedimentary, my dear Watson.
Very funny. I like you. 10% discount.
On rocks, yes, that is my hobby and pastime. That's why I was in deep deliberation with...
How about this rock? It's shaped like a turtle.
I hear they stack.
They do. Look, you can stack this one and this one. You can get about 10 high.
That's impressive, You should write a children's book about that.
Yep, 5 silver apiece.
5 apiece. Yep.
I'm trying to think if there's anything useful that could be cleaned. Can I roll a perception check to see?
You don't have to buy it.
I have to buy a rock. We've already put ourselves in this situation.
I know. We can get a gift for Cece the next time we see her,
What about
You-
Kelsey, who's imprisoned?
Nah, I don't think about her.
And Cece likes snakes, or like that snake belt an awful lot.
Finavir walks over and starts looking at the rocks alongside you.
Yeah, I give the man 5 silver and I buy an opal turtle.
An opal turtle?
Yeah.
Okay, you have an opal turtle
Very
now.
powerful. I'm adding it to my character sheet. This is my prized possession. You will never take this away from me. It's going under treasure, by the way.
It's big enough that Isabel could ride it.
It's just perfect. It was clearly meant to be. I don't know where to put opal turtle. How do I look this up, man?
It doesn't exist. It's just an opal.
No, it does. It's been I'm just putting it down as an opal.
Right. Now let's find somewhere else.
We have a little bit... it's risky. We should probably not go back to Franny's, at least for the night. I'll visit her later, and I think that might cause too much confusion.
Can I do a gather information set to try to find what seems like a reasonable place to sit down and talk privately?
Sure.
You know, any notorious brothel hotspots in town?
Oh, actually, I have a list of one of those, but it's across town.
It's across town.
Yeah, it's across town.
Why do you know something across town?
That's why we need to stop and talk.
Do you want to stop across town to talk?
No.
Okay.
Somebody might not be nice to us. Very bougie.
I have a lot of money.
You have a family.
I had a family.
You had a family. Man.
So what are you two doing?
We just want a private place to continue the conversation without consequence.
Right.
So.
You wanted to gather information.
Yep.
I'm waiting on that check from you.
All right. I just wanted to get that check approved. 18.
The only place you can think of right now is Franny's as the safest place. Beyond that, you remember that there's a bathhouse.
I mean, no one's ever been assassinated in a bathhouse before.
I mean, I don't know of any.
Clearly, you didn't pay attention in history class.
Yeah, but Assassin's Creed, I assassinated somebody in a bathhouse.
That's exactly what I was thinking of.
We could find some alleyway.
Oh, even better. You're right. You even think of the church.
It's very private there.
Yeah. A place for thoughts and prayers.
Mm.
And nothing else. Yeah. Let's just find a less populated place to go. We keep walking.
You know, South District is technically less populated. East District is more populated, so is West District. And North District is also relatively populated.
What district was the district with the rebellion? Was that the West or South?
You could roll an appropriate lore society check.
We knew the society. 24 for Charles Smoot Society.
You recall that there was mention that there was... And you even remember when you were walking through the city, seeing these graffiti on the walls. You remember that a lot of complaints were that in the South District is where it's believed that members of the rebellion are hiding. And Charles, you do recall definitively that Franny is a part of that rebellion.
100%.
Right. Can you think of anywhere?
I mean, the South District will have allies. Also, if I recall, I believe there was a bunch of abandoned buildings as well.
Oh, yeah. We could stay there, but not for long.
Why?
Because it won't be there for long.
The abandoned buildings?
Yup.
Why won't the abandoned buildings be there for long?
They were made abandoned on purpose. To wipe out the area and create it anew.
I mean, sure. Oh, I thought you had, knowledge of their imminent destruction.
I have evidence of their imminent destruction.
They're going to be bulldozed in a week or two?
I haven't read the papers in depth. We are walking while having this conversation. We're not loitering anymore.
Where are you walking to?
We're walking to the Southern District so we can go loiter in a building.
Okay.
Right.
So Finn will keep detail quiet until we get there. Speaking of getting there, we had to get through checkpoints last time. I don't know if we're still getting hit by checkpoints, but we did have that note.
We have paperwork, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a checkpoint when you entered the city.
Oh, I thought there was
one in between each district as well.
There is technically one that is in between the districts as well.
Yeah, and we're traveling from east to south.
Yeah. You have your papers on you, you have everything on you. Nobody knows anything about what's going on. There's no identification that has been spread around about you. It hasn't even been 24 hours.
Yep.
We just wade our way through a checkpoint until we're in the South District, and then we make our way to an abandoned building.
Excellent. We do that.
Do exactly that.
Okay.
Can we try to do it subtly?
So you would like to hide or sneak?
I think we do it legally. And
legally?
Carefully.
There technically are abandoned buildings also in East District. but the slums in the South District are known,
Yeah, more
or at least
slummy.
believed. No, they're both equally slummy.
Yes, like you said, mentioned previously, the slums in the Southern District are rumored to house the rebellion, which is who I am hoping we coincidentally stumble into, if we stumble into anyone at all.
Yeah, we're just as likely to get mugged, but sure.
You know what? That just falls back to the original business model.
Just try to find an abandoned building?
You've said that, yes. I was
Yeah.
just letting you know that there's many buildings in the East District that are also slums and abandoned.
All right.
So, you go to the South District and head into the slummy area, where you duck into what appears to be an abandoned, condemned building.
Is this private enough for you, Finn?
Yeah, seems so. Then we'll get out the notes so that they can pour over them.
You do hear a presence, though, of Red Guard that are usually, patrolling these areas. Not, directly in it, but they tend to be around and just checking things.
We take it out, and I guess first I'll show them the map. So, you see these markings?
I guess so.
I think there was a note attached to this.
It's a map that was on the table with some markings around the area
Ooh.
in the South District. You're not in one of those buildings that are marked currently, but there seems to be like an X in the word that just says here.
Hey, Finn, are you sure that these are buildings that are, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's just a hunch, but what if these weren't necessarily just the condemned buildings? What if all of these weren't even condemned buildings, but rather these are the assumed hideouts of the resistance?
Oh, that'd be very bad.
Yes, it would. I mean, good thing we have it now. We could potentially even investigate that assumption if we go to these locations ourselves.
Finn will officially give the map to Smoot.
Charles Smoot will gladly take it, as he is a avid cartographer.
So next, the notes. You think that I would have written more about them down and less about the coffee machine.
Mm-hmm.
You would be wrong.
No. What? Oh, do you got notes on the collapsible ladder?
So the leather book,
wine?
what I have written down is financial notes, tithing, funds, operating expenses, statue cost, mass amount for clothing, BEG-JX for a company. Oh, that's the name of a company. A small envelope with a letter, total quantity 24,000 silver crowns. This is beyond unacceptable. The king's money should never be spent in such a way. You are supposed to be representatives. You should be ... Pleasure House in the North District from your bishop.
Can Charles Smoot read over this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, can I make a perception check to see what Smoot thinks of these notes?
What do you mean a perception check to see what Smoot thinks?
Is there an associated roll to glean information?
There's what you can read from it, and then I guess we could say it's I guess it would be a secret sense motive.
Okay.
So you can roll the secret sense motive, and I'll tell you what you get from it.
Sure. I like secret sense motives. It could only be good. That's terrible.
Well,
you want to give me the non-abbreviated version then? Based on with the information of what my secret sense motive was.
sure. I'll read you exactly what I read last time.
Sure. Because I wasn't there.
You know, it's like Baldur's Gate 3. Every time you walk up to the book, you're going to get the same, text.
Yeah.
All right. It appears to be a ledger.
Mhm.
Its pages are filled with financial notes detailing recent tithing received at the church, funds allocated from the crown, operating expenses, the commission costs for new statue, and other miscellaneous expenses. It stands out to you, however, that a large number of these miscellaneous expenses include absurd amounts being spent on new clothes, accessories, art, theatrical performances, and this one repeating transaction throughout each of the pages that says BEG-JX, for a company. And there is a note that is tucked away in the back pages of the book that seems to be a letter that details a total quantity for something to the large sum of 24,000 silver crowns. And it says,
This is beyond unacceptable. The king's money should never be spent in such a way. You are supposed to be representatives of the sacred order. not indulging in such reprehensible acts. I know I said to watch him, but that does not mean you should partake. I can understand one little sippy now and then. The motto does not forbid such things. But 24,000 silver crowns? The king will have questions, and I would rather not have to explain why we are getting a bill from Un Pleasure House in the North District. Effective immediately, your pay will be cut by 50%. If your men have complaints, take it up with the king himself. Your bishop.
Wait, you were told to watch him. Is John being a bad influence?
Do I glean anything based on the contents of that letter and the ledger based on my sense motive?
It appears as you have read it.
Okay.
So did you glean anything?
I mean, well,
You find the information BEG, JX for a company, interesting, but you don't know what it means. You also find it very interesting that 24,000 silver crowns were spent at a pleasure house.
Finn, I think you had your information a little backwards. I thought you said this was a letter from the king.
No, I don't think he said the king, no.
Okay, well, this is a letter from the bishop.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you told me that the bishop was indulging in a pleasure house? Why would the bishop write a letter to himself about indulging in a pleasure house? Clearly, someone else is indulging in a pleasure house. Someone on the bishop's payroll.
Yeah, and I kind of get people mixed up. Wait, hold on. If the bishop, that was the bishop, and these expenses are for something else.
Right.
You said...
And it explicitly mentions him, taking care of him.
And it's
Yeah,
a repeating transaction throughout.
Oh, so you said that John was supposed to be near the bishop. You told me that in your letter.
And what do you think JX stands for?
It's either John Xavier, and I'm pretty sure BEG is Big Evil Guy.
Okay, Finavir, I understand you're a little green, a little fresh on the scene, a little innocent and wet behind the ears there, champ, but I don't think they're talking about a brothel. I don't think that stands for Big Evil Guy. If I had to guess, it probably stands for like busty exotic girls.
Well, you'd have more experience than I would. I don't hang around such places. Except that one time that we both did, and that one guy was playing poker with 5 aces.
Well, Finn, let's make a repeat of Guy's Night Out.
And without Valen, we will have to get him out of prison afterwards.
Well, yeah, but we can't do it tonight because we're there.
Oh, yeah. Of course. So, who's funding this brothel adventure?
Rock, paper, scissors.
I'll allow it. Rock, paper, scissors. All right. 2 scissors. 2 rocks. 2 scissors. A rock and a paper.
Damn it, Finn. Every time.
All right. So, Charles Smoot was defeated after 1 try.
That was like 4 rounds. Don't insult my intelligence.
Well, I didn't insult yours. I insulted Charles.
Everyone knows the first hand's always locked.
Well, you have no idea what BEG actually stands for. You're going off of the idea that it could be a brothel house, and it might be a good idea for you to gather information on such things.
So yeah, I guess with the rest of our day, we would go attempting to gather information about popular brothel houses in the Northern District.
Oh, please roleplay some of this. I really need to hear how you ask about
Okay. I'm cool with that. But first, just to make sure. So, just to be certain, there are no named businesses in this entire ledger.
Everything is shorthanded. It seems
Okay.
to be that way on purpose.
Yeah, I guess that would make some amount of sense. All right. So, time to gather information.
Yeah.
Well, you don't ask the South District people about North District business.
Right, you go to the North
So
District.
let's go to the North District.
Yeah, 100%.
And then we'll gather for information.
Correct. Yeah, that's how that happens.
Okay. So do we make it to the North District to launch into this? Or are there challenges?
Well, there are gates and there are papers.
There are other gates and there are paper requirements for them, but for the most part, you're easily able to bypass them as long as you have the appropriate identification and you're not doing anything suspicious. And also, you're heading to the North District, and the only thing you have to say is, I'm going to have some fun with the ladies.
You see, this here's my son. And, he is on... He's got to have his bachelor party, so we got to scope out the joint. He's about to be a married man soon, shackled down. So we got to send him off with a bang.
Oh, right.
Any suggestions? You look like a man of experience.
Well, I do have some experience, yes. What kind of things interest you? I mean, you're coming here.
You guys it's still daytime. It is not night by the time you get here. Like, you guys had just arrived to port in the morning. You just went to the Coliseum, basically. So I'm just letting you know it is not evening. It is like late afternoon.
Sure. Okay.
So maybe you want to come back here at night when the red district part of the northern part is opened up, since this is more so the artisans and other things. There is a nice market in the north central area, as well as a big theater. I really enjoy going to the theater personally.
Ooh, theater.
Son, we're here to go to a whorehouse, not a musical.
You said I could do whatever I want today.
I guess as long as the sun's up.
I'd ask what time of the shows, but I think we're holding up the line.
You make it into the northern district. The guy kind of directs you. He does suggest that you come back at night when the north district is even more alive. While there does seem to be a good bit of merriment going on, you don't see many children in this district. In fact, you see more so along the lines of people outside with smaller stalls, people selling art and other non-perishable goods. But generally, it seems quiet here during the day.
Guess we walk around? So I can't think of a better way to kill time.
Generally, a check to gather information takes about an hour.
Or 2.
Depending on how long you want to take, yes.
So the goal is to find out which brothel is this brothel.
And if an individual named John Xavier frequents it.
Yep.
Or at least a man matching his description.
You'd like to gather information. Go ahead and roll that check.
I would like to aid him. I successfully aid him.
The boy's rolling up.
You guys walk around this area. It's kind of quiet, so it's hard to find some of the more unscrupulous individuals that you would assume affiliate themselves in those types of places. Though it's not hard, as you know what to look for. And with this one passer-goer that you stop, he offers you several names of brothels in the area, especially some of the ones he likes. The Voluptuous Femme was one of them. The Alluring Kitten, Busty Exotic Girls, the Steamy Burlesque, the Voluptuous Concubine.
Jaden, why are you diligently taking notes on the names of the brothel? We know which one we need to go to.
Well, that's why I have as Voluptuous Femme, Alluring Kitten, Busty Exotic Girls, and other non-essential names.
He also makes note of the theater as a place that is also relatively popular, as some of the productions that they put on seem to attract interesting audiences.
Well, as the nightlife isn't quite right yet, perhaps your intuition was correct. We do go to the theater.
I wonder if they have any daytime showings.
Probably, but we're not there to watch the shows. We're there to watch the people.
We can do both.
Finavir, focus! I've always wanted to go to the theater. Okay, you can watch the show and I'll watch the people.
Okay. You head towards where the theater is, and you learn that there are actually 3 theaters in the area, though the largest one is actively putting on performances, though they only do it at night, and the other ones put on very bland day shows.
I don't think the crowd we're looking for will go to bland day shows. I think they're more the large and in charge and very expensive.
Well, that's the only way I can think that you spend 24,000 silver crowns.
Maybe he got the show custom done up for his, his own personage. The lifestyle of John Xavier, the musical. Who has the most punchable face?
I don't know if that's the line that he would write in his own musical, Finn. Just because it's an accurate statement.
So, you guys have learned definitely that you will need to wait for the evening, for the nighttime, if you are looking to go into any of the brothels or to this showing.
Cool. So we kill time until the evening.
A few hours pass by. until the sun begins to set beyond the towering stone walls of Tyja's outer rim. Lanterns begin to light the pathways on which crowds of individuals, unscrupulous or not, begin to maneuver among the walkways. You, having found a place of purchase, decide it's time to begin your next steps. So where do you go from here?
Oh yeah, we got to go to Busty Exotic Girls. That's the place to be, and I would like to attempt a diplomacy check to seek out rumors about my target. I attempt a normal, hard, or very hard diplomacy check to gather gossip. With a roaring success, Charles Smoot gets a total of 10 on his diplomacy.
That is pretty roaring. That's pretty success.
On a critical failure, you hear a few mistaken rumors and take a -2 circumstance penalty on your next check for a preparation activity. Also, word spreads around that you're asking for a particular group or individual, increasing their awareness.
He's going to try to ask about someone of John's description. Being that he's missing an arm, at least from my recollection, it should be pretty easy to pick out. 25.
Charles Smoot, you begin going around trying to get information, and you seem to scare off a few of these girls who are definitely prostitutes. And they seem to start spreading rumors that these other ladies should avoid you because you're a creep.
Well, when you have 8 more in your skill...
Finavir, you take over from there. And you begin walking around. Your character is not exactly... You are always looking above the chest, like neckline and up. That's the only place you ever look because these girls are scantily clad, trying to lure you into their brothel. And you begin asking around about a one-armed man.
Oh, yeah. He sometimes is over at the BEG. And by sometimes, I mean all the time. And he always has this group of people coming with him. Kind of creepy.
Creepy? Like...
Yeah, they're creepy.
Ethereally, spookily creepy? Or just like, keep this person away from your kids creepy?
Kind of like that old guy.
Kind of like, like that old guy over there. Just maybe not as big, just more like intimidating and doesn't make the girls really feel okay. So we generally try to turn them away, but BEG takes anybody nowadays. But of course, here at our shop, we do offer discounts on first-time visits. The Alluring Kitten is always open to new customers.
I thought we were at the BEG.
You said you were asking around.
Listen, I prefer the Alluring Kitten anyways.
I mean, it sounds like a better place to be, honestly.
Busty exotic girls, man.
Finn will try to politely leave.
Oh, come back! We'd really love it. Oh, and he's gone. Commission's taking a hit this time around. Damn you, BEG.
You make your way definitively over to the BEG, the Busty Exotic Girls brothel.
We do, right?
Collectively.
Okay.
The pair of us, yes.
Yeah.
Unless he leaves
No more
you
splitting
alone.
the party.
You go over there and you continue asking around a bit for your target. And there's this definitely BEG there. I don't know if the E, though, applies.
Hello.
She's very busty, I'll say.
I mean, that is an exotic voice.
She's got a long, cigarette spoolie. And there's, a cigarette lit on the end.
How are you, sweet cheeks? Come to test the waters?
Madam, no offense, I think he'd drown.
I'm finding it very difficult to find the words. My word, they don't exaggerate.
What was that?
Huh.
You have to excuse me, darling. I'm a bit hard of hearing. It's after all the years of having men screaming in my ears.
A natural byproduct of your line of work.
So, is this the secretary, or what would, who are we talking to?
Oh, darling, you don't know me?
Not yet.
Oh, you will.
Oh, Finn, don't entice her too much. She might pounce.
Oh, You can call me Isolde, darling.
Never has that name ever sound less refined.
I think it's a high-class name.
I wouldn't disagree with you.
Though I will say my customers of late have been dwindling.
She takes a puff of her little cigarette.
I don't know if Quentin's picking up the same thing as Jaden is. Because if this is what you're greeted with here, there is a fairly obvious... I guess maybe it's not obvious, because if you're looking at me like that.
I'm also looking at you like that. Tell me what you're thinking.
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Okay, so I'm just going to go full conspiracy mode, right?
Let the audience hear the inner thoughts.
Yeah, my inner thoughts. This place is not the ideal place to go to, air quotes, have a good time. This is a place to go where you won't be interrupted for a private conversation. How do you fund a rebellion without making it obvious? Spend it at a brothel.
It's possible?
You're gesticulating, darling. Is there a problem?
No, it's just he's really good with his hands.
Right.
Well, so what does it take to spend some time with such a lovely lady?
Oh, for you, darling? I'd take 10 silver any day from you.
And for a pair? Implying to have...
You want to have a... Are you talking to the girls, or you talk...
I've got 2 girls right here. More than enough for you.
This is hard for all of us.
I don't think it's great for me, man. I am here for it.
Oh,
Well, I'm usually here for the lower class, poor people like yourself.
Wow, you hear that, Finn? You're lower class and poor.
However, if you seem to have the dough on you, you could reserve time with Evelina. Though I don't know what you'd want to do with her. She's just busty. I've got the whole package, darling.
Come on, Finn. She's like a refined wine. You love wine.
It's just right.
I have become an expert.
And why don't you roll a perception check? Both of you.
30 total for Charles Smoot.
32.
Charles and Finn, as this monstrous beast is outside of the door, seeming to kind of block you from getting in. And I say monstrous beast because she is big. Like, she is a heavyset woman that is definitely the ideal of some men. But you do see, though, inside, because she's kind of like also the bouncer in a way. If you can't get by her, you're not getting in. There is, however, a way that you can see inside the building. And you see that it is actually very nice in there. More so than the woman that is outside. And it is decorated in rich cloths. There are many cushions, and you do see that there are individuals just sitting at tables. They seem to be enjoying drinks, kind of like a Korean, like one of those houses where they kind of go in and they sit and they play games with the ladies.
Ah, Demon Slayer.
Yes, it is closer to a geisha.
Yeah, and you talk, you play, or like or on high school host club.
You do, however, see that there is a woman wearing almost the definitive colors of the kingdom, red and black, but she has very dark, long, almost black hair that is braided, like almost down to her knees, and she has this air of elegance about her.
That's Evelina in there, darling. I don't think you can afford her.
It depends. What kind of coin do you take?
She kind of looks at you.
We take all manner of coin. If it's currency, it's probably good.
How about barter?
Finn, we have coin.
You want to barter for Evelina. You'll have to speak to the matroness of this establishment. Some people say it takes a whole year's wages just to get a day with her, to sit at a table and play Parcheesi.
Oh, I am a sucker for Parcheesi, Finn.
You know,
Call me your soul, darling.
Finn will take out the bottle of blood wine. They say with each sip you find your youth restored. As he brandishes the wine, these are simply our public disguises. You may not know us, but we come from money in a place farther away. And the tales of Evelina do stretch further than you may think.
Oh, darling, when you say another woman's name, it really hurts me.
So, barter?
What do you want a bottle for? I can't give you Evelina. If you want her, you're gonna have to talk with the matroness.
I was hoping this person could get us that.
You can follow me inside, just don't touch anything.
Certainly.
She turns and gestures for you to follow after her. And she actually moves with surprising grace as she does. It almost doesn't look like she's walking. Roll a perception check.
Oh, another one. Got him.
25 for Charles Smoot.
And 24 for Finn.
Walking into this building, you do see that it is very luxurious. And all the women here are very well dressed. Actually, they're more covered than the women at the other brothels that you've been to, although they are busty. So they kind of fill out all of their clothes very well. But as you're walking through here, you swear you catch sight of the man you're looking for up on the second floor. And you can see that the woman, Evelina, seems to be leaning over and talking with him. But you also spot a few hooded individuals. Finavir, they remind you of the priest ascendants that are directly under the Order Bishop. It's hard to tell how many are there, but from what you can see, you see at least 2 right now. And both of you are seeing this.
Maurice, I have 2 guests here who want to ask for Evelina.
Of course, darling. Please, bring them in. Come, sit down. There's this table that you see, and there are 2 seats in front of it. So, tell me, what has brought you in? Just don't look at me like that. Into my pleasure house.
You're the bard. I've butchered myself with my 8 in diplomacy all night.
It's this older woman with hair that's kind of like twisted up. She kind of looks like a Mr. Twisty ice cream cone.
Well, to put things simply, the reputation of your establishment is second to none. And I found myself most captivated by the beauty of one of the women that I saw walk by. I believe the name is Evelina.
But of course, darling, everyone says that for Evelina. The question is, what have you got in your pockets?
Why don't you take a look?
Oh, gladly.
And he'll produce the blood wine elixir.
Really quick, though, she looks over at you, Charles.
You know, if we had an establishment set up for men, I'd invite you for it. You would make a great, busty, exotic man.
For sure, he's built like a brick house, and you'd sell out instantly.
I don't know if busty is exactly the term that I would use to describe myself, but...
Busty is just a term we use to describe overly large body parts.
If you say so, madam.
This
My
is great.
associate is the individual with the motivation. However, I may be the individual with the stature to hold on to his coin. Though I must ask first, as this is, I'm sure, a reputable business, information of the ongoings inside said facilities are not liberally given to the outside, are they?
This is a private establishment. Everything that happens in the pleasure district stays in the pleasure district. Of course, barring certain rules and regulations. So you're bringing me wine.
She reaches over and kind of pulls it in her direction.
Finn will spin her tales of the wine's mythical properties.
So tell me, why should we let you barter wine for time with Evelina? Is this worth a year's wages?
From my understanding, it's worth that and more. If you should choose, I could simply pawn this off and come back with the coin. However, you may lose out on the opportunity. Finn wants to kind of talk this up. I would imagine if it's anywhere close to its description, this is worth we've seen things worth a year's wages do considerably less than the
Certainly.
tales.
Sure, go ahead and roll a diplomacy.
I think what you're trying to say is what's worth more, a year's wages or a year, right? Because if I understand this object correctly, it literally has like age rewinding properties where you get younger again.
Oh, hot. 33.
I'm letting you know, though, you are at a...
Hilarious negative.
especially because her appraise ability is very high as a merchant.
Oh, good.
She looks at it.
You're trying to sell me blood in a bottle?
Then what do you have here?
He just went through an elaborate explanation that it's an elixir that reverses aging.
She said you're literally bottled blood. Why do you have that?
I assumed that was just the color of the wine.
Aha.
Did you even taste it? My boy,
She kind of lifts it up.
it would only go for about 30 silver on the market.
As I mentioned, my associate is the one with the ambition, but due to my stature, I am the individual carrying the valuables. The reason why I asked for discretion is a similar reason why I asked Isolde about accepted forms of currency.
And Charles Smoot will pull out 3 crow,
Sure.
and he stacks them down one at a time.
How many of these would it take to get an evening with Evelina?
You boys are quite far from home, I would say. You are similar to our other guest, I will say as well. We would take about 10 of those. She is worth every copper.
You mentioned another guest. I'm sure your ties, connections, and ability run deep, especially within this establishment. What would it cost to arrange a private meeting with the other guest, like our kind? We see that he is currently preoccupied with some of his other associates, and we need to have a private word with him.
Roll a diplomacy.
Can I aid another?
Oh, you can aid.
For purely business purposes, of course.
Purely business purposes. 24 for Charles Smoot.
18 for Finn.
To have a meeting with your desired target would require his approval and a separation of him and his accompaniment, which would take quite a bit since they seem to be close allies of his.
We already discussed the price of Evelina, so what if we just doubled that?
I could arrange for 6 girls to distract the men. If you could present such things in a reasonable time, of course.
Charles Smoot just drops a bag of coin on the table.
Thank you for your patronage.
She kind of jingles the pouch a little bit and starts counting out the coins.
Ah, yes. Be wary of waving these about in the future. We, of course, here in the Pleasure House don't share such information. We don't care where you're from, just that you have the coin. And you, young man, while I'm sure this wine of the blood is useful, you should return it to the one that you stole it from. Such magics on this don't seem to reside on you. It's not dark. Your color is lighter.
I think I got it.
What do you think you've got?
It's black magic. He seems too innocent of a kid to be delving into that kind of stuff, and she probably knows the type of people this comes from.
Would you like to roll a sense motive on that?
I'd like to,
I think that would probably be an appropriate check. You can tell that she is being quite literal, and that it seems like she can see the color of your magic as she's eyeing you. And she even has this little eyeglass on that she kind of looks you up and down with.
You have to have a keen eye for stolen things, of course. It keeps the guard away from the district. We discourage thievery greatly.
Understood. I apologize for any trouble.
Now your names would be useful, as it may aid in obtaining your target's cooperation if you so think it would help.
Trying to think if we had a moniker.
Does Valen have an alias?
Kingslayer.
Kingslayer. No,
We came here under our real names, right?
I don't know that we did. We have a letter.
I mean, it's just as damning, so there's no point.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like if someone asks for Charles Smoot, they'll just, after saying his name, say, oh, you know, the giant 6'6" guy who's as wide as a barn. So,
Charles and Finn.
yeah.
Seekers of vengeance. Rescuers of CC.
Charles and Finn, and let him know that Franny sent us.
But of course, I shall have this done. Post haste. Relax. I shall have Isolde bring you when the time is right.
So Parcheesi.
Parcheesi!
With Isolde?
I guess so. Why not?
Perhaps.
Oh my gosh.
I think that's extra, but might be worth it.
I would love to play Parcheesi with you, darling.
This is a gambling house, too?
It's strip Parcheesi.
Oh,
Finavir loses everything again.
Oh, you do always lose your items, don't you?
Yeah.
Loses everything because they're cheating, clearly.
I ask Isolde.
How many entrances and exits does your establishment have? Is it just the front door?
you can't have a place where affairs could take place and not have a back
There's
door.
plenty of
I
back
know.
doors. Like there's always a back door somewhere. But
Especially here.
So many back doors to go through, but they cost you extra.
I hope there are no kids listening to this session.
What do you mean? When you need a secret escape route, when the wife comes a knocking, you have to pay extra to go out the back door. Obviously. What are you thinking?
I'm talking about all the secret doors. We do not want to teach children to sneak out of the house.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
We're all on the same page.
Your kids will be listening to this one day.
One day.
So, I will say there is one big main entrance that people can go in and out of. There are obviously like the servant exits off to the side, but generally those doors are locked. The main building that you're able to travel into, and this also keeps your privacy because you can walk into the main area but not actually go in and partake. But all of the rooms open up out onto the main path that you can go out through the front entrance if you so choose. All of the rooms have an entrance and an exit,
I see.
but it's like a big fenced, similar to an Asian style geisha
Sure.
house.
So yeah, Charles Smoot's perfectly fine staying situated where he is, but he's keeping an eye on the front entrance.
You wait, playing Parcheesi with Isolde. She is really good, by the way. It is not strip Parcheesi because she says that costs extra, and
Yeah.
she's only doing this free because you dropped off Crow and she's one of the gals. She'll strong arm somebody if she has to. It takes a little while for this plan to go into action. You see as the older woman kind of gracefully walks up the stairs, she goes over, you see that she engages with Evelina, and everyone splits off and separates momentarily. And you see as they start to usher off each of these hooded individuals that you know, Finavir, are the priest descendants. They get ferried off into a back room somewhere, one at a time. And there are actually more than 6. But it seems that they don't mind the attention because it's free. They're happy about it and they're going along with it. But these people were in areas that you didn't notice them, where they were just kind of around, just watching. So, you see as the old woman stands and signals with her hand.
All right, boys, it's time to get started.
No time like the present.
All right, follow me.
Alright, we follow her.
And she leads you up the stairs onto the second floor, which you realize must be for the high-paying guests.
I think we certainly classify.
Yes, very high-paying. You paid a lot of money. And you are led to the older woman, Maurice.
Very well, darlings, follow me now.
And she guides you, Isolde stopping at the top of the stairs.
I'll see you later, darling. Don't forget me.
She blows you a kiss.
I don't know how we could ever.
Finn will play along.
Oh no.
Like he catches it.
He's gonna come back and pay my fee. He'll free me from this place someday.
Don't talk like that.
We might just
Might just add her to the list.
add her to the list.
I'm sorry, it's really funny. It's come into a whole new meaning. She leads you, though, to a back room. It's a very ornate room.
Gentlemen, I must ask that your weapons, whatever you carry on, you remain sheathed so that we can protect the sanctity of this establishment. Your sword, sheathed. Understood?
I won't need a sword.
Your dagger, sheathed.
You see, Charles Smoot is somewhat clenching his fists.
Sheathed in peacetime.
Very well. You may enter.
She bows and backs away, opening the doors into this very nice room. And you walk into this room. You see John Xavier. You see him seated at the end of one of these tables. About time you showed up.
All right. You have 2 minutes to explain why I don't punch you in the face. And let me tell you, you're already not off to a great start.
I was about to say, and that's where we end off this week's episode of the Gate Chronicles.
I'm gonna kill him.
Thank you, Foundlings, for listening to this week's episode of the Gate Chronicles. I think we got plenty done. I'm actually surprised where we ended up with things. The North District, barely written at all. I just have notes on things that you can get benefits from. That's about it. It's great. Yay! Huzzah! But we want to give a big thank you and shout out, besides our patrons, who we thanked and shouted out earlier,
Do it again.
Stephen Howland and Jason Lawless. Thank you so much for supporting us. We're really grateful for it. But we also want to give a big thank you and shout out to our music and ambiance artists, Michael Ghelfi of Michael Ghelfi Studios and Monument Studios, for creating these amazing sounds that you hear in your ear holes. Yay! Their links are in the description below. You can support them in many ways, going to their Patreon, etc. And you can support us in many ways by going to our Patreon, visiting us on our Discord, telling us we did a great job. I like pats on the back. They feel nice. I'll take that any day. But as always, I guess we'll see you next week on another episode of the Gate Chronicles. Bye-bye!
Bye, guys.
Bye.